I am joining you all today in a Wormways room I am exceedingly familiar with, because I spend so much time in this room learning the strategy for you to skip it while having no movement abilities, because you can't get past any of these platforms without the ability to dash, or probably other movement abilities. You need to do a heal stall there, which I failed, so apparently I didn't learn it well enough, but that's alright. Because this room isn't about that trick today. What it is about is a mistake I found in the hours and hours I spent practicing that skip. You stay in this platform farming silk a lot when you try to do that heal stall, and I noticed over time that the spikes underneath these enemies slowly move. And I don't think anyone would have noticed this if they weren't trying to practice a skip like this, because there is otherwise no reason to spend this much time in this room. So let me fast forward it so none of you have to spend that amount of time. It's crazy, but for whatever reason, this one spike, which is actually a prehistoric enemy, moves up over time. And I've never seen this interaction with any of these other worms in the entire Wormways, which is insane because these guys are everywhere. And this is basically what this video is about. Little mistakes like this, which don't really break the game, but they're funny. I mean, look at that. I just clipped through his entire hitbox because the damaging hitbox didn't move, but the visual hitbox did. We have a flying worm. And also, if anyone could help me figure out this glitch, I would love to hear your explanation, because it just confuses me, man. Why does this one bunch of spikes, this worm, move? Nothing else in this room moves when affected by worms. It shakes a bit. This one specifically rises up to meet you. It's just... I have like nothing else to say about it. But yeah, this is the whole idea behind this video. I have a lot of random knowledge on Silksong because of the amount of time I've sunk into it. And that knowledge has led me to learn some very funny mistakes about this game. Nothing I showcase in this video is a mistake big enough that I think it needs to be patched. Mostly, it's just for your own edification, interest, and hopefully you get some enjoyment learning things that you probably would have never known until you saw this video. I mean, look at this. It didn't even just go up. Now it has gone to the right and has absolutely abandoned its original position. The hitbox that the worms are going in is like invisible now. You can see it right down there. They go into a flat ground. And hey, as I'm calling out Team Cherry for making mistakes, I should make a mistake of my own. I'm on a Steel Soul run right now. Let's just end this. Start a mistake video with my own mistake. And hey, if any of you enjoy the rest of the mistakes I have to show, or even just this first one, please leave a like on this video and subscribe to Kilroy Was Here for more nonsense about Silksong. Let's go on to the 9 remaining mistakes I have to share with you. Silksong, like any good Souls-like, has unlockable shortcuts that let you save progress that you make in an area. However, some of these unlockable shortcuts don't work properly. And by some, I mean this one, the one I am currently showing you in this video. If you hit it and go through it, it works perfectly fine. However, if you hit it and save and quit before the whole animation goes through, you go back and you assume everything turned out fine. Everything looks like it turned out fine, the door opens, but the other door does not open. Somehow, when Team Cherry was programming this shortcut, they made it so that half of it was instantly marked as opened, while the other half wasn't marked as opened until the full animation played. I have not seen any other shortcut in this game for which this is the case, but you can just permanently screw over your save file to never have this shortcut unlocked. Oh well, at least you can make a nice video where you're pretending to be a prisoner trapped in a room forever. That's what people would play Hollow Knight Silksong for, right? The role-playing aspect. Now, those first 2 mistakes were things I learned over time, but this third one has to do with the Beastling Call, and it's something I noticed in my first playthrough of this video game. You see, I was playing it right there when I was standing on probably wood and grass and shell wood, and it's very reasonable for the beasts to come out and be able to dig through that ground to get to Hornet. And I think Team Cherry does a good job at limiting where the beastlings come, because some of the places you try to call them are unreasonable. Take for instance this dock. Hornet looks up whenever the Bellbeast children can't come to her, and there's no reasonable way they're going to dig through this dock which isn't connected to the ground. However, there are some unreasonable locations that I don't think Team Cherry thought through. I am walking on metal now. You can hear the difference in the ground by Hornet's footsteps, and metal seems like it'd probably be too hard for baby bell beasts to dig through, and yet they are perfectly capable of doing so. Now, I think this is a mistake, but I can see the argument that I'm being nitpicky. Well, do I have something else to show you, my dear viewers? They may be able to dig through metal, but can they dig through ground that they're not even big enough to fit through? Apparently so. You can go on this platform, you can't go on the docks, but you can go on a piece of wood about just as wide as a dock, and the Bell Beast children will come to pick you up. And that's not even the worst of it. The worst thing I've ever seen is in this room. There is a bench in this room. Look at the platform that bench is on. Are you gonna guess what happens when I try to call the Bell Beast children using the Beast Things call, dear viewer? Yep. They dig through this inch-wide ground, and even more than the Bell Beast, I want to know how Hornet fits in there, because watch what she does when she calls the children. She just makes it through there. Hornet might be the greatest magician that Farloom's ever seen. That or Team Cherry made a mistake. Or these children are magical. Tell me your secrets, you little beasts. Give me the knowledge I need. Forget that. I've got a better magic trick that I can look into. So I've got the invincibility mod turned on right now just to better show off this trick. But in arenas like this, where doors come down to block your exit, sometimes those doors don't really fit with the walls above them. And that can lead to interactions like this. Yep. You can just cling grip onto the wall forever. Who needs Ascendance Grip when you have very specific hitboxes that let you do the same thing as Ascendance Grip anyway? This is true magic. I don't care about... Okay, I kind of care about being able to teleport into the ground when there's not enough space. But this is cool too, right? It's... It's a mistake that's never going to benefit anyone, much like the last mistake, but it is a mistake. So, Team Cherry, please don't patch this, and also just don't patch anything in this video. This is all for fun's sake. You like having fun, don't you? This fifth mistake is a weird one. It has to do with the snitch flies you can see all around Farloom, and it's kind of in an in-between in my mind, between a mistake and a cool detail, and I'd love to know what you think about this, my dear viewers. But as things stand right now, when you attack snitch flies and leave, they will fly away. In this room specifically, in the Citadel, you can see they almost fly through the floor to escape, and that in and of itself is not the mistake. I was assuming when they fly that way that it's kind of just showing the silhouettes in the background and it's not actually them. And if that's the case, then there's really nothing to worry about. That makes perfect sense. Then I learned you can get actively hit by their hitboxes when they fly away in this room. And that is where I think the mistake lies. You can argue that them flying away is not their physical bodies, but if it's not, then they shouldn't be hitting you. And if they are hitting you, how are they making it through this solid metal ceiling when they escape? So either the mistake is the fact that their silhouettes have a hitbox, or it's the fact that they can escape through this solid metal roof in this specific room in the Citadel. Basically, pick your poison. I happen to think that that escaping animation is really just not intended to be playing in this room, and Team Cherry forgot they did so, and it's just a cool detail that their bodies can hit you, but who knows? It's very odd, and it's cool for sure, but I think at least one mistake was being made here. Ah, Trobio. It's hard to say that anything about Trobio's design was ever a mistake. And yet, there is a very, very funny quirk that comes with him. When he dies, quote unquote, when he fake dies after you beat him, he kind of gets a hitbox there where you can attack him and he'll react to it. And normally this hitbox is just for fun, to joke around with him, to attack him and see him react. But if you go onto the Reaper crest, and a lot of other crests, you'll notice that it's not just there for him to react to. Team Cherry mistakenly put a massive pogoable hitbox for Trobio. and for some reason it's only pogoable on it's not pogoable on the Hunter or Wanderer crest, but it is on every other crest. I was gonna say only, but then I realized more than half of the crests in this game can pogo off of him, and the only ones that can't are the Starter crest and the Wanderer, which may be why this isn't more well known, because Hunter and Wanderer are probably the most used crests. So yeah, Trobio either has the ability to phantom project his body up about 5 feet above him, or this is the mistake, let's just be honest, okay? It's a funny mistake. Well, now that we've beaten Trobio, we can get the Sacred Cylinder, and you can also get every other Psalm Cylinder at this point in the game, with no issues at all. So you can deliver to Vaultkeeper Cardinius every single cylinder in the game, and doing so unlocks the Gramophone from him. And the thing about the Gramophone is it lets you play all these cylinders back at your bell home. And we can choose to not play the Sacred Cylinder even after giving it to Cardinius. So theoretically, we could go back to Bellheart, install the Gramophone into our house, and maybe learn how to play the Vaultkeeper's melody from our house and not from Cardinius at all. Which is cool, because Cardinius is kind of a jerk. But unfortunately, that is theoretically. And if this was something you could actually do, it would probably be in a fun fact video, not a mistake video. So what's the mistake here? Well, you can go right into your bell home, your own domicile, play the Sacred Cylinder to teach you the melody that you need, and nothing. You get no progression in the main story quest. And it's worse, because if you play your Needle in this room, Hornet knows how to play this melody. She is literally playing it. She has learned the melody. She didn't need to talk to that stupid Vaultkeeper. She learned it all on her own, with her own Gramophone given to her by the Vaultkeeper. And yet, it says we still need to learn the Vaultkeeper's melody. I'm pretty sure this is just an oversight by Team Cherry. They forgot that it's possible to get the Gramophone without hearing the melody from Vaultkeeper Cardinius. And I don't want to rag on them too hard for that. It'd be cool if there's an interaction here, but there isn't. Let me show you things that Team Cherry does add. Details like hitting the Gramophone, causing it to warp the music, and give it the warbly sound. Like I can forgive this mistake just because they add details like that to this video game. And why did I even leave my room? I have another mistake to share with you all, having to do with the way music is considered in this game. So we have our Psalm Cylinders and our Gramophone now, but Psalm Cylinders don't just have music. What if I just wanted to sit down and listen to a sermon of service? You know, it's kind of relaxing, kind of nice listening to the bug language giving a religious service, but I don't really want to hear it alongside the Bellheart music. So what if I go into my menu, the options menu, and turn specifically the music volume down to 0? Well, if I do that, not only do I lose the Bellheart music, I lose the sermon. Yes, the way Team Cherry made this game, they decided all Psalm Cylinders are considered music in terms of volume. So, no religious psalms for us who don't want to listen to music. And worse than that, when I don't have the music on, I can't listen to the last surgery of Conductor Mazzello. I've got to turn the audio on for that. This is what I want to listen to in my free time. Look at Hornet. She loves it. She loves standing in her private domicile, listening to the historical recordings of the medical community of Farloom. And because of Team Cherry, the background music has to be on when listening to the surgery. And you know what's even stupider about this mistake? I turned the music volume down to 0. The last surgery of Conductor Mazzello is muted, but you know what isn't? All of our Needle-In music. Our Needle-In music is not music. The music volume option does turn off the volume of sermons and surgery, but it does not turn off the volume of our handmade music with our instrument. Incredible. I love playing video games because they let you experience things like this. I come to you all in the memoriam, dear viewers, in the tall leftmost room. And that big room right there normally isn't all that noteworthy. You rarely have a reason to come back here. But in Act 3, this room transformed from unremarkable into very odd. This tiny area right at the top of this room right here gives you one of the weirdest slopes in this game, and basically points out a lot of mistakes in Team Cherry's platforming system that they never had to think about, because this never comes up in normal gameplay. So this one slope right here makes you slide off, and that's not really that weird. What I find very strange and funny about this though, is that if you double jump onto that slope, you start to fall forever. So twice in one video now have we found small little errors that let Hornet fall forever. Amazing. And basically what's even funnier about that is that just inches below that, maybe not inches, but a very, very tiny amount of screen below this infinite falling glitch, we get another major weird mistake that happens with the collision in this game. So there is a tiny alcove underneath this area that you can actually fit into. It's not this alcove, it's right underneath this, and you can manage to claw line into it just by getting the angle right. And if you claw line into it, it no longer is a... you can just stand in it, okay? There is no world in which Hornet is 1, standing on anything, and 2, should be able to fit in here. Her head is clipping into the wall, her whole body is floating mid-air. Hey, at least the Beastlings are wise enough to not try and rescue Hornet from here. Although maybe they could. We've learned in this video they've got some pretty damn powerful abilities. So this is a bit nitpicky, but if anything, I was just excited seeing how the Act 3 architecture in this game can be kind of abused to show off a lot of the weird behavior that exists because of the way Team Cherry programmed this game. So it is a mistake. These are all interactions that are really, really strange and definitely not intended. But as with all the mistakes in this video, not that major and majorly funny. And while I've enjoyed going over mistakes that are very harmless in the most part and funny in a lot of cases in this video, today I'm coming to the most miserable place in all of Farloom to showcase one of my most miserable mistakes I have found. And that has everything to do with Rune Rage. When you use Rune Rage, it spawns a bunch of these rune orbs around the room, around Hornet specifically, and it's never been very good. I think we all know that. Even when it's gotten buffed, it's still probably the worst soak skill to use in most battles. But something I've recently learned is that it is even worse than it is supposed to be. It is worse than what I thought was already the worst soak skill. I have been spamming Rune Rage around this room as I've been talking here. And if you've noticed what's been going on, dear viewer, you may notice there are far less runes being given on every cast than there were when I started. There were probably around 10 or 8 when I first started casting this in this room. Now, it's random at some points, but it's consistently going down to 5, 4, 3, and it will continue to spawn less and less runes as I use it in this room. I have infinite soak on just to showcase this point, but if I was to get this soak from enemies, it would give the same result. Somehow, and that last cast just gave 0 runes, somehow using Rune Rage in one room over and over makes it worse on every subsequent cast. So if you want to beat a boss using Rune Rage as your soak skill, you might find it fully impossible, because eventually you'll just be giving out 1 or 0 casts of runes. There will be nothing to hurt anyone with. I'm staying in this room to try and see exactly what the problem is, but this is a mistake that really, it's a damning indictment of Rune Rage that this isn't a bigger complaint, because the fact that this has not been broadcasted just goes to show you that no one cares or uses Rune Rage normally. No one has used this ability enough to even notice that this major issue exists with it. And I couldn't tell you when this was patched in or if this has been in the game from the beginning, but this is probably one of the most heartbreaking things that could happen to an ability. An ability that's already bad. An ability that is now worse because of a mistake Team Cherry made in implementing it. And this is after they patched in the fact that it no longer loses all of your soak when you get hit. That's a good buff. That's genuinely gave me hope for Rune Rage's future. And now I learned that this happens. Now I learned that the more you use it in one room, the worse it becomes. I'm sorry to end this lighthearted video on mistakes off with this little tirade about a soak skill, but when I found Rune Rage initially after beating First Sinner, it was probably one of the most exciting upgrades I had gotten in this game, because First Sinner is a phenomenal boss, and I knew whatever I got from her would make me really happy that I went through that process, and it did for the first couple of test casts, and then I saw how bad it was when I tried to use it in combat, and apparently it's even worse than I ever thought it was before. So for everything else I said in this video, they don't really need to be patched, they're not big problems, but for Rune Rage, please patch this problem, Team Cherry. And now, I will throw Hornet into the spikes along with the current existence of Rune Rage. Have a good day, everyone.